Magnificent morning, wonderful afternoon, and fantastic evening, wherever you are in the world. For me, it's afternoon, and it's the same thing for Mirza. But for Burair and Gayathri, it is evening because we are international. We have India, Pakistan, and the United States here today. And we are going to be talking about focusing on your power and using it to move your life forward. I know that's not exactly what I wrote in the title, but I'm human. Having said that, I want to give a little feeling about what I mean by that. I don't believe the power is actually ours. It's getting in touch with the source. And we all have a soul contract for this lifetime. We all have a way of focusing our lives and how we're supposed to focus it. And when we are in alignment with what we need to be doing in the world, our lives become more enjoyable. Our lives become more focused, and we enjoy what we're doing. We're not just doing it because mommy and daddy told us, oh, we should be a dentist, and if you're not a dentist, blah, 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 so you become a dentist and you hate it. My parents ran a very successful orthodontic office, and it was the job of each child to be there for a year. That was enough for me. And I got far away from dentistry. But it was a path that I walked that brought me to where I am now. And we all walk our own paths. And when we become more into who we are and what the path is, we enjoy our lives more. I happen to enjoy what I do now. And somehow Rehan Allahwala found me and said one day, very early when we met, Carla, I think you should speak English with some Pakistanis. And I said, I'm not an English teacher. I'm a special ed teacher. But you know English, don't you? And I said, well, yeah, I've been speaking it all my life. And he said, okay, we're going to go live and you're going to speak to people in English. And little did I know that it was going to grow like it did. And it would guide me to where I am right now. So the path we walk is what takes us to where we are. And it's the path, if we listen quietly to ourselves, we begin to realize what it was. I always liked talking. My parents would tell you that. I like what I'm doing. It was something I liked doing as a child. But I went in a different path to get to where I am now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you that we have a few people on my panel. One who refuses to smile, Burair Hussain. We have Mirza, who is having me laugh, and I'm not laughing right now. And we have Gayathri Deshmukh, who was also a PhD student. No, you've finished your PhD because you have the doctor in front of you. And we're going to see what they have to say is about their own power and their own movement towards bigger and better things. Gayathri, you're the lady. Ladies come first. Introduce yourself, please.
Thank you so much, Carla. Hello, everybody. My name is Gayathri Deshmukh, and I'm a meditation coach by profession. I basically work on stress and anxiety aspect that people suffer from. through meditation techniques, not medication, but meditation. It was during my journey in this meditation that I genuinely became aware of myself as a person. One of the most difficult aspects of that process of awareness was that when I was discovering I'm empathetic, I'm compassionate, I was happy. I was discovering that I was a nice person. But during this journey, there was something else as well that I was discovering. That I have a bit of jealous streak in me, that I can get really very jealous. Another something else as well that I was discovering. Yeah. So apart from jealousy, there were some other vices as well. For example, I realized that I was very impulsive. I continue to be that impulsive. Sometimes it is my strength that I don't think before I leap, and I just go with the faith. It's the leap of faith every time. But sometimes when there are certain situations, I realized that I was not responding like a human being. I was reacting like a chemical. Like acid falls on something and it reacts. So I was more of a reactionary kind of a person. And that awareness, to some extent, also turned out to be my power, because I started controlling myself, and controlling not in the negative sense. I was letting myself free with all the emotions. I was not stopping those emotions. I was not controlling those emotions, because with that awareness came one realization that I'm a human being and it is okay to feel certain things. Just because I feel jealous of somebody doesn't make me that person. I had to accept myself with all the feelings I had. So if I was compassionate and if I was jealous, all I had to be aware of was that how far I let that feeling of jealousy go. And gradually I realized the moment I kind of embraced that feeling, I could make light of it. The intensity decreased considerably, and I felt it and I could leave it. It was flowing like water. I was not holding on to anything. So I think that awareness about ourselves, acceptance about who we are, and embracing ourselves the way we are is a key to really overcome all our vices, and that can actually help us become better persons. I don't know if everybody else agrees with that.
It doesn't matter, because it's who you are, and your dream and your way of life is different from everyone else. Even your parents, there is no one walking the same pathway as you are. And if you want them to, then you're not being true to yourself. Everyone thinks a little differently, and everyone uses language differently. So don't apologize for who you are. Be who you are and enjoy being that, because that's what you're about. Okay, thank you. Do you want to say anything else before I move on and we get the conversation going?
I would love to hear what others have to say before I give my other piece.
Okay. Burair, what do you want to say about this wonderful topic?
Good to see that my panel, who is very well aware and who is very well known. Um, if I talk about Mirza, he's one of his own kind. He speaks very well. He knows everything about mind sciences and meditation, everything.
Do me a favor.
I just
stay on the topic and not the people here. Go on.
Yeah. I just wanted to add some, put my 2 cents into the topic, that awareness, what I feel and what I have read and what I have been taught, that it is about knowing. And if I talk about my journey, it was not like that. I started as, we South Asians have been told that we have to follow that path or this path, or this kind of education or this kind of syllabus. So I was like that. And but somehow something was going in my mind, and something I had some visions. I thought I should be like that, I should be like that. But somehow, gradually, I've started following my passions, and it was not a painless journey. It was full of hurdles, full of struggling. But uh, by the grace of God, I am now a meditation and mindfulness trainer, and I teach people about mind sciences, and and I'm very happy for that. So awareness comes with time, and you cannot say that it is something that comes at the age of 40 or at the age of 20. Some people might get it on at the age of 20, some people get it on at the age of 40. But it's all about the change, and the moment you realize about yourself, the moment you realize that you are going to there's a famous meditation that we used to do in our sessions. It's about awareness and expansion of the awareness. It was very empowering and very beautiful meditation. That and the second one is it decreases your awareness to the one point, to the one path, very miniature and very small. And there are two, these are two different kinds of meditation. So when someone goes through the process of those kind of meditation, those processes, those meditations, those mind sciences methods, I think he's the one who understands the awareness thing. Otherwise, it's very difficult for someone who is tech savvy, who's someone who is living in an environment who is so harsh or so busy with so full of technology. It's very unlikely to have that kind of awareness. So in today's environment, it's very important to have some kind of experience with yourself, some kind of experience with your insight, with your mind, so you can experience the awareness and experience the magic. So that's all from my side.
Would you say that the magic
Yeah.
is getting in touch with who you are, who you really are? Burair, I'd like you to answer that question, please.
uh, if I say magic, for me, magic is something that is unable to translate for humans, though it is in the world, though it is made by the god or creator or someone divine. But it is what it is, but we cannot translate it into our own words, so that's why we call it magic.
Hmm.
Something happens in our life. Yeah. No. What do you think?
Give me a meaning. Give me an example of magic. I like
uh
what you're saying. I just want you to go deeper into it.
okay, I'll give you an example. I have several examples that I had no experience of mind science or meditation or something like that. I have no access to any kind of teacher, but I had all of my knowledge, experience, and education all free. And I have to mention it, and I have to claim it, that all free from the one of some of the top coaches of the world, some of the top teachers of Pakistan. And but I got that. I don't know how, but it happened to me. So for me, that's magic.
Okay. And I agree. It's like a magic. I, when I was in high school, my first year, I wanted to be in the humanities class with the principal. The principal taught a class. And I don't remember why, but I had to literally go to him and beg him to be in the class. And in a way that I did get in. It wasn't that big of a beg. He liked me and he brought me in. I mean, this guy used to ride a motorcycle to come to work for school. Um, And he wore a toupee, and everyone knew about this principal who was very open and very different from other school administrators. And that was the magic, the beginning of my journey. The first thing we had to read was the book Siddhartha, which is all about Buddha. And it brought me to realizing that the divinity is within us and not without. And by learning to trust myself, and it took many, 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 many years for me to begin to trust what I felt inside, I began getting to where I needed to go. But also part of the journey and the mistakes and the bumps in the road took me to where I wanted to go. And that's the mystery of life. Mirza. And please don't forget to share out the show, guys.
Yesterday was history. Tomorrow is a mystery.
Excuse me, Alexa, stop. I don't know why she began talking, but she had a lot to say. Go on, Mirza.
So yesterday was history, tomorrow is a mystery. Be in a moment, own the moment, seize the moment, own you now. There's a power of now. We define our reality by living in now. Once we piggybacking of both of these points, Gayathri's point and Burair's point, and you're piggybacking your wisdom, Carla, so spot on. Once you go on self-inquiry, self-discovery, self-reflection, self-realization, self-awareness, self-worth, you realize there's an entire world inside me. And that inner world, the mastery of inner world, inner reality, inner intention will manifest into external intention. Psychologists say that a person cannot rise above the self-image they're holding back in their subconscious mind. In order for you to elevate externally with evolution and revolution, first you need to work on that internal self-image with evolution and revolution, because your inner reality, inner intention will manifest into external reality. And what magic happens, how Burair was saying so beautifully, whatever mind will visualize, it will materialize. Whatever mind will conceive and believe, it will achieve. You're a magnet. That unseen controls the seen. That metaphysical in your brain would convert stuff into physical. That esoteric converts stuff into exoteric. It's in excitation before inhibition, right? So that's a journey, and life is all about journey. It's not a destination. You'll continuously be on the path to learn more about yourself. And there's a couplet by a poet and saint, and I'm going to translate in English. He says, he's called Allama Iqbal. He says in Urdu, "Apne man mein doob kar pa ja surage zindagi. Tu agar mera nahi banta na ban, apna to ban." So all the mysteries, all the answers are inside you. Gandhi says it's so spot on. Be the change and create the change that you wish to see in the world. And it's inside out, not outside. Every aspect of your life is tied together by you owning, taking extreme ownership, focused accountability, and radical responsibility with your life.
Slow down a little, please.
So that's where the magic happens, you know. Once you know who you are, once you understand your potential, then you are never settled to die with your potential. The biggest, the most expensive place on this planet Earth, on this universe, is a cemetery, is a graveyard, where a lot of dreams are buried. A lot of books and skills and capabilities and expertise and competency and potential with the invention and innovation would have happened. But yet people were not able to bet on themselves on a highest degree. So that's the game changer. That's when everything happens, you know, by mastering your inner reality and enjoying the process at the same time. Like I said, one who's able to control his past, because your past is R&D, research and development. Scientists see all the research and development. He pick up the best experiments. If you're able to control your past, you're able to control your present. And if you are able to live in the present, you're able to build and predict the future. So be the best version of yourself in the moment, in the present. Live your life to the fullest human possible potential in the moment, in the present. Be all you can be in the present. You and I, we have to constantly rewire, reframe, recondition, repercept, reparadigm shift, repattern our patterns of existence towards the growth trajectory with the growth and abundance mindset that would give us our desired outcome. And I'm going to quote something from the Bible. Bible says, "You shall know them by their fruits. Fruits are the results of your life." And if there's a problem with the fruit, you go back to the root and the seed through which you're planting that plant and the trunk and seed, and it gives you the fruit. And those fruits are every aspect of your life. Your physical fitness, your spirituality, your meditation, your memoirs, your relationships, your human intellectual capital, your social capital, your business, your career growth, you being high performer, high achiever, high producer, heavy hitter in a business and marketplace, you being competitor, everything is super tied together. Burair was saying about meditation. When you do meditation, you become the overseer, you become the permitter, you become the observer to your thoughts, and you see the situation from a bird's eye view, and you're able to dissect your thoughts. Gayathri was saying that she used to react. Reaction is thoughtless, but when she was responding, that is thoughtful. So either we respond or either we react, because life will hit you, life will hit me, and it's not the reaction, it's the response. How we respond to the situation will become that situation, and that only happens when we step into our daily power. When we step into the awareness, because awareness is the first step to change. You and I, Carla, we wake up with a certain level of energy in the morning, and it's all about like that direction we choose. Thoughts in your brain would go viral, they would go spiral, they would multiply, they would compound, they would go exponential. Either it's towards the positivity or negativity. Same conversation will empower you or disempower you. Will make you mentally strong or strongly mental. Will give you endless hope or hopeless end. It's all a choice. And choice only happens when you exercise awareness. And Einstein, I always quote Einstein here. He said, a mind will not solve the problem at the same level of thinking that has created the problem. You have to come out of that and see the situation from a bird's eye view and turn all your mess into a message. Turn your garbage into gold, turn your trash into cash, turn your pain into purpose, turn your traumas into triumphs, turn your wounds into wisdom, turn your acorns into an oak tree, turn your lemons into lemonades, trials into trails for the world to follow your footprint. And I come from technology fraternity, and we believe on that the real job of entrepreneurship is you make more so you can give more by making this world a very better place, because everybody can make money, but do you make a difference? So at the deathbed, I don't want to die with my potential. I don't want to live beneath my potential. I don't want to have a deathbed regret that did I live? Did I matter? Did I create an impact on a large canvas, on a large magnitude? And that only happens when you step into your power daily, when you live at the level of consciousness, self-actualization, self-inquiry, self-discovery, self-awareness. So those were my few humble sense.
I remember, Carla, I told you I would like to listen to what others have to say before I give my last bit. I would like to pick up from where Mirza left, that I completely agree with what he says. Life without regrets is the most important. When I was in my journey, when I had just left everything and I was walking I was just exploring my country, walking the lengths and breadths of my country, I would live with people. I used to talk to them. 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and 70-year-olds. Even 20-year-olds had regrets that we can't do this. And 70-year-old had regrets that we couldn't do this. And the best part of both of them were living in the same house. So the generation which lived in regret is still unable to identify. They are not aware about themselves, which is why they are not aware about the 20-year-old in their family, who also they are putting on the path of life filled with regrets. Over here again, Mirza mentioned a person named Ghalib. There was another thing that Ghalib said or is attributed to him, which I often tell myself when I think about advising other people. I often remind myself of when I feed the earth to tell people how they should lead their life. So this is what Ghalib had to say. सारी दुनिया की है खबर मुझको बस अपना ही पता नहीं चलता.
Yeah.
Which means I know about the entire world, but I just don't know anything about myself.
हम वहाँ हैं जहाँ हमको कुछ अपनी खबर नहीं आती. I'm at the
Wow,
level I know about
English
myself.
only and
Yeah,
speak
we just
slower.
translated it. Yeah. So
So
there's a
the
noodle
whole,
connection in there. Yeah.
yeah, the whole idea is that first we need to be aware about ourselves. First we need to identify ourselves and most importantly accept what we are. Unless we accept that this is my problem, we cannot transform as human beings. We cannot transform our personalities. We cannot change. I listen to people say, I'm not going to change for anybody. It's a good thought for self-empowerment, but not changing for anybody against changing for your own betterment. I believe changing for your own betterment is more empowering than being rigid that I won't change at all. Don't do it for anybody else. Just do it for yourself because it's going to make you feel better. The less regrets you have in life, the more happiness you will experience in life.
Right. And when we have expectations of things happening in a certain way, it always gets a little screwy for us. For instance, I was supposed to be traveling and I didn't even expect that I'd be in the United States at this time because of my plans. They kind of got screwed up. My passport was stolen. I'm going through it again. Don't worry, I took care of it. No one could get it. But the point is, the craziness of what happens, there's a reason for it. And the only way you can find out the reason and make some meaning out of it is by living through it and just staying in the moment. That doesn't mean you're not going to get angry and upset at times. It just means that's the moment. It doesn't mean that when someone close to you dies, you're not going to get upset because you're in the now and that person's not here. You are going to get upset. But as you stay with the moment, you keep growing to where you need to be. Burair, you've been quiet and you're not doing something I asked you to do, so I'm going to pick on you.
Yeah, I think I have shared it.
What?
I think I have shared the video.
So that's not what I'm talking about.
I think she was
There's
referring to
a
the
look
smile.
on your face.
I think she was referring to the smile.
I think I have to go for a plastic surgery because my face doesn't look like that much smiley.
Are you having fun?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
So what do you want to say? I told you I'd pick on you if you didn't smile, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just
score.
mesmerized by everything they are talking about, and I have no words what to say. I just thinking about my journey and how things happened to me. How things changed magically in some years. So let them talk.
No. Tell us
Yeah.
about tell us about your journey and how it has brought you to where you are now, today, this very moment.
Yeah. When it was happened almost 13 years ago when I started learning NLP, and at that moment of time I was very unaware of. I did it casually, I didn't do for myself, but for some other person. He wanted me to do that, so I did it. But it was all uh, it was nothing for me. But somehow along my journey, when I get to know about silver method, and I get to know about some of the other methods, and and then some bad patch happened to my life, and then I started applying all those methods, why it happened and when it happened, and can change my life or not, or then this can change my life or not. So I applied different methods of mind sciences and NLP. And then I started to realize, and it was a moment of, ecstasy, or you can say a moment of joy, when I realized that all that happened to my life, it was all about my thoughts, or about my awareness, or what I was thinking. It was all happening to me again and again and again. So I just what I did is just changed my thought a little bit, and everything changed. So so this is something that I really like, and I always teach people. And sometimes people say that you are saying this again and again and again. And I say that life is all about repetition. You do it, you find a good thing, you repeatedly do it, and make it more concise, make it improve it to the best possible level. Though you cannot achieve perfectionism, though you cannot achieve the highest point, the highest peak, but you have to repeat it. And life, it's all about. So that's my journey, and it's I always say it's all about magic.
And it's all about being able to be flexible, being
Yes.
able to shift. People think, oh, my life's going to be an uphill struggle or a downhill struggle, and I'm going to travel the straight and narrow. And there really is no straight or narrow. There's only a journey, and it's a winding, spiraling journey. And you don't know where it's going to go until you've gone. You may be dreaming of something and you think, oh, that's what I want. But in order to get from A to B, you need to be able to go see C, and maybe Z, and maybe R, and then get to B. Because that is what teaches you or helps you shape that journey. Mirza, you've been nodding your head.
Wherever you are in life and where you want to go, where you are in life and you want to go, your current self, your desired self, your current version and your future impossible version. There's a gap. There's a cognitive dissonance, right?
Right.
So what you do, since all of us are talking about the mind sciences, your mind is a very powerful reservoir. So what do, you go in the future and work backwards, reverse engineer where you want to go. Whatever results you want from life, you go in the future. You operate from the future impossible version of you. You operate from your super identity. At one time, our mind is our encapsulation, it's our incarceration, and it's our liberation. It's how we operate ourselves. It's how Burair was saying, when you change the way you look at the things that you look at, they change. It's all about perception of situation, perception of reality. It's how you see reality and constantly create it by stepping into your power, stepping into your awareness, stepping into your control. And what happens is, where we are in life, where we want to go, there's a gap, there's a cognitive dissonance. So you take inventory of your life, your baseline, and whatever you want out of life, in mind, in body, in spirit, in health, in wealth, in relationship, body being balanced, business, bonding, bank accounts, your inner peace, your happiness, right? My granny used to say something in Punjabi. She used to say, "Putra kam karam hode ne." Son, work is worship. Do the work, it works. Your life is not going to change until you change something that you do every day. Because you and I, we are competing against ourselves to be better today than we were yesterday. And once you exercise growth mindset, you reverse engineer your productivity and you operate from your future impossible version of you, and you are able to push past through the procrastination. You're able to push past through imposter syndrome. You're able to push past through the lower version, and you overcome and become, just like a metamorphism happens from a larva, from caterpillar, from cocoon to butterfly. It's a death and rebirth. And you be logically aligned, you know what to do. Then be emotional about it. Then be physically aligned also. Physical alignment, you take action. Knowledge plus action, action plus knowledge equals result. Knowledge without action is nothing. Action without knowledge is nothing. Be logically aligned, be emotionally aligned, be physically aligned. Take massive, offensive, resourceful, committed, imperfect, inspired, fast, decisive, measurable actions to get to the result. And results are the fruit, and it's never-ending cycle. Life is all about journey. Top of every mountain is the bottom of other mountain. At every level, you and I will find a new challenge, new problem, new obstacle, new devil. And there's no devil outside, Carla. It's you and I. We are competing against ourselves, and it goes on. Once you challenges as a gift and problems as a gold mine, and that's the unshakable, the bulletproof mindset. When you nurture, when you cultivate, then you are fearless. Then you are limitless. Then you are unstoppable, unbreakable, unshakable. Then you're lean being fighting machine towards your mental battlefield, and you're able to achieve what you want. And it's your own responsibility. And the reason why people are not able to change, because it's a battle of 5% conscious mind with awareness stepping into the power versus 95% of unconscious and subconscious mind that still have engraved all those self-imposed limiting beliefs, suppressed identity, and baggage that are holding you and me hostage in a jail cell, in a prison cell, in a cage cell of our mind. Once we break those bars and shackles and overcome and become, we go back to the darkness. Like Gayathri was saying, you embrace yourself in totality. You see that darkness and negativity, that it's a gift. It's a fuel. Fear is a fuel. Pain is a power. Use it to your advantage. You go back to that darkness. You go in the night, seek the sight in the night, turn on the light and fight like a warrior, like a gladiator. Not like a warrior, you're not a victim anymore. You choose to rise as the victor of your life, and you overcome and become. And I shared that example before. In order for you and me to be a diamond, we have to first learn to be burned like a coal. And at the end of the day, it's not the result that is important. It's who you and I we become in the process. And my today's version, when I look back like 10 years ago, version, he was very challenging. He was very gutsy. He was high performer, high achiever, high producer, heavy hitter in a business and marketplace. But today's version is far more better. And then our prophet says, a believer is he who's betting on the faith, who's better today than he was yesterday, with the growth mindset, with abundance mindset, not with the scarcity. And that only happens when you are living at the level of self-actualization, at the awareness level, when you constantly step into your power, you choose to rise above the problem that you're facing, and you down the line you build your capacity. How Burair was saying, anything that he did for the first time in his life, you and I we did for the first time in our life, we will suck at it. That is inevitable. But repetition and practice our craft is the mother of learning. We turn that structural plasticity into neurons, into neural plasticity. And once you have a grit and stamina, energy, conviction and confirmation, with courage and confidence, in clarity and consistency and persistency, you're able to achieve anything that you want, as long as you don't give up, and you're logically aligned, emotionally aligned, physically aligned, and spiritually aligned. Like Elon Musk, you're aligned with a vision and mission and purpose that is bigger than you, that larger than you. Then you're in a flow state, then time dilates, then you're out of time and space, and you're like, I hope I know. Half the time I don't know.
Mirza was talking about being logically aligned, emotionally aligned, and physically aligned. I remember my teacher used to say, have harmony between your head, heart, and hand. And I remember for most of my life, I would think one thing, say something else, and do an entirely different thing. There was absolutely no alignment between my thoughts, what I was saying, and my actions.
And one thing, this is called, Gayathri, not to, I don't mean to cut you off. Thanks for bringing that amazing point. It's called pure integrity. If I invite Carla, hey Carla, come to my show and everything, and she's not coming one time, second time, third time, she'll lose integrity. And I'm nothing on Carla. I'm just trying to throw an example here. If I tell myself, what you tell yourself is what you sell yourself. The more you know yourself is the more you grow yourself. If I tell myself, and if I don't do it, I'm out of the integrity with myself. My inner self would say, hey, you're a liar.
It's not always
all about keeping your words to yourself.
No, but Mirza, it is not always about integrity. Sometimes what you think and what you say, they may not align with itself, but not because of the lack of integrity. Sometimes it's just that, oh my God, maybe what I'm thinking is the craziest thing. Let's not say it. That, for example, in my head, I'm thinking that I'm going to go to Switzerland, but then I think to myself, oh, that's not possible. It's way far-fetched. So I say that I'll go to Kashmir, but what I end up actually doing is I don't go to either of the places for several other reasons. I don't end up in any of those places. So it's not about integrity. It's just about sometimes courage. We just don't take that leap of faith. And I think that leap of faith is important, and that courage is something that we have to gather. Absolutely. You spoke about this a journey from this present to future, and then reverse engineering and everything. Yes, that sounds great, but sometimes what we fail to understand is that the person who is standing here is looking at himself or herself over there, but you need courage, because as Carla pointed out, it's not like just an uphill battle or a downhill battle. It is like this. You never know where you are reaching. Sometimes the path is up and down. Sometimes it is like this. Yeah. It's never straight. It's never straight.
That's why we were saying you turn your fear. What is fear? F-E-A-R. Face everything and rise. Because fear is the fuel, right? Pain is the pay attention and now. You turn that pain into power. And sometimes you need to walk. This is what entrepreneurial energy is. We as a forward-thinking visionary entrepreneurs, Gayathri, we walk into the uncharted territories. We constantly push ourselves beyond the pain barriers. And we know that's where the growth happens. We have to overcome and become.
Yeah. Yeah. How many decisions do you make as an entrepreneur on a daily basis?
24/7, 365, around the clock.
Exactly. Okay, so you're making a decision at every point. Think about the person who is here, who wants to reach there, and to reach there, that person has to make decisions. But this person is extremely indecisive. Why is this person indecisive? Because deep down, the person has no idea what he or she wants.
Alignment.
Yeah, they don't know what they want. Lack of awareness about themselves, lack of awareness of what they want. And most of all, it is the fear. Will my decision be right? And the best part is that sometimes your decision does not have to be right. You just have to make a decision, either this or that. It's not going to make any effect. It's not going to have any impact on anybody's life. And still they hesitate making that decision. There is something that holds them back. And that is because of lack of awareness, which is where they don't know their power. And which is why they are still here. They're not where you say they have to be. So the reverse engineering.
It's just so funny you're mentioning it. You're mentioning yesterday we were talking about youngsters, and Carla, we were talking about the same thing. Some people were like, and my rationale was, Gayathri, do the work, it works. Conditions will never be conducive. Star will never be aligned. You will never be ready. The best time for you to take action is now or yesterday.
And so, there's oh, go on.
Go ahead.
Go on. Finish what
I mean, what I'm trying to say is, like, that procrastination.
You're crying, or are you saying?
I'm saying the procrastination is a dream killer, right? That over analysis and paralysis that comes in your way. So you free yourself from yourself. you open up a space, goes back to what Gayatri said. You accept yourself in totality, take a leap of faith with the courage and confidence and consistency and clarity of your mind. You just take it. Use the fear as a fuel. You use pain as a power and overcoming and becoming. You will, market will reward you more than your analysis ever will. And that was the conversation that we were having yesterday, because like we are so hounded by self-imposed mental blocks and limiting beliefs that are holding us hostage. Once we free ourselves from ourselves, that's when we are limitless, when we are unbreakable, unstoppable. So beautifully said. Yeah.
But it's taking the moment and not worrying, oh, I made this mistake yesterday. I better not do it because I don't want to make a mistake. I had to make a decision yesterday about interviewing someone. And he was sending me messages asking me something. And I didn't understand them. And I thought, hey, and I would answer something, please explain. And he would say, oh no, forget it. And I thought, how can I interview someone where we don't even have the language in common yet? It cannot be done. But it's sticking with the moment. And I thought, how many times have I had to do this? And normally they just don't show up. And they don't tell me that's the reason, but I know that's the reason. On this show, it's to help people realize we all make mistakes. There's a quote that I posted today, and of course I don't remember the quotes I post by heart, but it was about perfection and being perfect. And actually, you are perfect when you are imperfect, because there is no such thing as perfection.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we may understand that. And I remember Rehan wrote on it, I'm learning to know this, I'm learning to believe this, but I'm far from living it. And I said, so what? Everyone is far from living it.
Absolutely.
Life.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Burair, you need to say something.
I need. I will say something about the thing that she said about the person who wanted to
Just say it.
move from one point to another point. The thing is, sometimes we have so much. We are so much occupied with thoughts, with our ambitions, with so many things, because technology and the thing that now has arisen with that is named as productivity, and sometimes people mix it up with lot of things doing at one time. That they say that productivity means having so many things doing at one time. But for a person who wanted to move from one point to another point, he needs to do one thing, only one thing. He needs to clear out his mind. He needs to remove the dense fog of thoughts in his mind. Only then he can move from one point to another point. Only then he can make a good decision, and he can be self-aware. He can be, because awareness happens. Awareness just happens. It cannot be created. It is there, it is always there, and you cannot turn it off or turn it on. It is always there, but you need to sense it. And only when you have less amount of thoughts, and you cannot it's almost impossible to have a thoughtless mind, but when you have a less amount of thoughts, only then you can able to make a good decision, move from one point to another point. And then is the time because mostly you have seen that when we are in a toilet or when we in a place like when we woke up, we have good thoughts. We have different kind of when we are taking shower, we have a good thought. Why? Because we at that time we are going through a meditative process, or a process we are removing our thoughts, and we have less amount of rubbish in our mind. So to take a decision, you need to remove some kind of fog, remove some kind of, because there are two concepts. For awareness, it's you become awareness, or you point out to something, or you become a candle, you become a light, or you say something that this is candle, this is the light, this is the thing that I need to follow. There are two kind of concepts, but for a person who wanted to take decision, he needs to think that he is at the moment he is a decision, he is that kind of solution who brings it up all, who will solve all the problem. So I hope I have explained it
Burair, do me a
yeah,
favor.
yeah.
Stop apologizing. Stop saying, I'm going to say this. We don't need that.
No,
All you listen to
sometime
me.
sometime
Listen to me.
yeah,
Close your mouth for a moment. You can speak. You don't need to agree with anyone. You just say it. Stop the fear of speaking. Stop that fear of, I can't do it. You're hurting yourself. Stop it. Don't do it here. Okay? Mirza, you wanted to say something.
Well, I think we are getting at the tail end of this conversation. It was very empowering conversation. All I want people to know, hey, listen, the path to Hell Island and Heaven Island is within you. It's all about you betting on yourself on a highest degree. It's all about you working on one project. It's called Project You. It's you challenging yourself. We are as good as we challenge ourselves in all facets of our life. And Bible says, you shall know them by their fruits. And fruits are the dominion. And we all are given those dominions to take complete dominations on those dominions. Your physical fitness, your family, your faith matters, your finance, your relationship, and everything happens through the mind. What you think is what you become. How you think controls everything. Because 9 out of 10 of everything is in your head, in your belief, in your attitude, and your attitude will determine your life's altitude. So always follow that altitude, stepping into your power. Based on my thought-provoking conversation with Gayathri ji, was the sum total, the crux of it is we are sum total of our thought. We all have fear, but turn the definition of fear. It's either false expectation appearing real, false evidence appearing real, or FEAR, face everything and rise above the problem. Because the situation will never be conducive. Timing will never be right. Something is always burning, just go anyways. And trust me, you will achieve more by taking action, by being in momentum, by momentous growth. And that's how you will enjoy your life. You will have fun of it. And the size of your success has to do with the size of your imagination. It's how big you think. How you think controls everything. Look at Elon Musk. I always quote this gentleman. He merely started with a childhood dream. Now he literally made that happen. That is complete true entrepreneurial energy. Did he had fear? Was he doubtful? Did he had procrastination? Did he had imposter syndrome? We all have. But it's how you respond. Problem is not the problem. Our response or reaction to the problem is always the problem. Either we respond or either we react. The reaction is thoughtless. The response is thoughtful. But when we change the way you look at the things that you look at, they change. It's all about how you see things, I gave an example of, and that's it. It's having fun in the process. Enjoy your life. Wherever you are in life, it's the sum total of your old beliefs. And dismantle those beliefs and rewrite new beliefs by taking action, by having clarity, by having courage. by having leap of faith. If you have fear, you'll have fear. Every level you'll have fear. But once you get in terms with those stories, when you get in complete acceptance of yourself, then you'll step into your power. Then you don't give away your power. If you see me cool, calm, calculated, that is my power. And if I react to you, I'm throwing away my power, my energy. And we all are leaking so much energy. We all wake up with a certain level of energy in the morning and step into your power. And one last thing I'd say to the youth, if you own your morning routine, you own your day. And the way you spend your day is the way you spend your life. And you're competing against yourself to be better today than you were yesterday. And that competition happens yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, 24/7, 365, now round the clock. How you respond or how you react, that will change the trajectory of your life. Those were my few humble cents, and I totally agree with the panel, and so thought provoking. I loved every minute of it.
Okay, very good. And I agree, every moment is important. So if you make a mistake, that was an important mistake. Don't do it again if you can help it.
Absolutely.
But that's the point, living in the moment. Gayatri, what would you like to say before we end the show?
I think I would just say that just have that courage and take that leap of faith from point A to point B, and you'll be right there. Just be aware of what you are, and you can take that leap of faith.
Thank you. Burair, put on your smile. And what would you like to say? Even if it's only 5 words, say something.
I just wanted to say that experience meditation, experience it from someone who already know it, and and experience it with consistency, with persistency. Only then you can experience more of it, more magical things, more awareness, and uh, more of your life.
Beautifully said. If you become in tune with who you are, just by listening to that little voice. I have a friend who I really, really wanted to speak to yesterday. And I kept on hearing inside, don't let it go. You'll hear from the person. And let it be known, by the end of the evening, we were talking. But if I had made that call, it would have gone the other way. So sometimes we need to listen to that little voice saying, you can talk now. Great time to make a comment. Or wait, be patient. Think of what makes you happy. And as you become happier and happier, more into who you are, what you do will represent that, and you will grow in that manner. Believe it or not, guys, we have been talking almost an hour. We're a minute and a half short. I am going to close the show now. I want to suggest ask that people subscribe to Gigglefest University on YouTube, because I could use the views and I could also use the subscriptions, but it will help keep the show on air. And with that, we are going to wave goodbye, and we will be back on Thursday. Bye, everyone. Have a good day.